Booster.
Go.
Retro. Go. Vital.
We're go flying.
Guidance. Guidance go. Launch control, this is Houston. We are go for launch.
I feel the need for speed.
You gotta ask yourself a question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Join us or die.
And welcome to Mark Groupie Outdoors, the podcast. I am your able-bodied host, Mark Groupie, and thank you all very much for tuning in and listening. Yeah, summer's upon us, and things are heating up, and pigs are hammering the grain fields, and got a lot going on. Ryer, before we start covering all our bases today, why don't you tell us how people can find us on various social media and listening venues?
Well, before I do that,
there we go again. Jesus Christ. He's always...
Do you know how many times you say...
Big yawn. Big yawn. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, frankly, a lot of people, they tell me, Ryer, you have very good information. You know a lot of things. I know it. You know it. Everybody knows it. That's my Donald Trump impression, by the way.
I knew you were doing Donald Trump, so I mean, at least you. Yeah.
Well, now I lost what I was going to say, so I guess we'll just have to do it the regular way.
Hashtag
how they
winning.
Can find us.
How they can find us. Well, what kind of technology do they have, Mark? Are we...
Say they have an iPhone.
Well, you can take your iPhone. You would then have to go to the App Store. And within the App Store, there's a collection of apps that you could download. You've got Facebook, which is a popular social media option. A lot of old people use it. Mark uses it. He's napping right now because he's old. You hear him? That's Mark napping.
And drunk.
He's not. We tried to do that last night, but I need everybody in this audience actually to write Mark hate mail to tell him that he needs to do the Drunk Hunter podcast more.
Oh, but okay. Here's your goal then, Ryer, set before you. If you can get three people to chime in on social media saying that Mark needs to do the Drunk Hunter podcast, I will bring back the Drunk Hunter podcast.
How do they have to chime in? They just have to say bring back?
When we post it on Facebook, our podcast is out. Yeah. If you get three responses saying bring back the Drunk Hunter podcast, we will rock it.
So, well, we've got two here.
Easy. I mean, that's and TJ
because I'll respond.
TJ Downs will be the third.
Not counting our guest, young Charles, and not counting the millennial Ryer.
I bet we can do it.
Easy.
All right, you guys have to do this now. So find us on the Facebook. Find this. You're listening to this, so you should be able to find the post and tell Mark to do the Drunk Hunter podcast. We also accept Instagram,
Visa, MasterCard,
ass, grass, or cash.
No one rides for free.
Send us any of those things via Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We have a website at the community show, www.markgroupieoutdoors.com/podcast or thecommunityshow.tv, and you can find all of our different social media adventures. Oh, we have Instagram TV now. That's a new one that you guys have to get on, I think.
What is that?
I guess it's Instagram's way of trying to get into the video market, except for they're doing vertical video, which is asinine. That's not, I don't have strong feelings about that at all.
I heard Mark's huge on MySpace.
He is.
Yeah. I am.
He's one under Tom.
Yeah, it's getting ready to explode, and you'd be surprised the number of people that reach out to me on AOL Messenger and say they have found me on MySpace.
You can download this podcast on Napster.
Yeah.
And also a plethora of other viruses. Surprisingly, this won't be the worst thing on your computer when you do that.
True.
Well, Ryer said ass, gas, or cash.
But also
send those three. If you're sending ass or cash, send that marked for Ryer. I think he's in desperate need of both of those. You can just send, you can.
Would anybody actually deny that though?
You can just send me the gas. I need it for all my hunts.
Your truck's actually about empty.
Yeah,
right now. Yeah, just so you know.
I think it was pointed downhill, so it was.
Put it in your
because
I know
when
my
I-
truck.
when I- when I-
I know my truck. We're fine.
Yeah.
We'll get there. I know my
Yeah,
truck.
plenty. I could make it all the way home. Well, anyways, moving along. It is summertime, and we are finishing up the end of the 2017-2018 hog season, and we've had a pretty good year. We've got on a lot of hogs. I've swallowed the olive and choked on a few, and we've shot a few. This is the first year we've brought up a lot of guests, and we've had a number of guests got on hogs. We just released a video of a little of that action, which you guys can go back and on markgroupieoutdoors.com and look up some of our videos. We got some hunts with that. And so we're just winding up the season, and joining me winding up the season is our in-house guest today, Charles Whitwam. Charles, how are you doing?
Fantastic. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm going to have you up more often. This was good luck.
I like that idea. That sounds like a plan.
Yeah. Today, in 12 hours, we killed 3 hogs. We got on. Last night we shimmied about 500 feet up to top of this little plateau, and started about a 5 or 10 minute walk into a set of wallows, and bam, there was hogs, and they were on us like fat to a mother-in-law, and we had them within 10 yards of us, and then they kind of spooked out, and Charles made a good shot on one, sniped it, and we found it. And then this morning we went out, and again I walked out right from the house, glassed up about a bunch of 20 of them, and we made a little half-mile stalk around to get the wind right, and crept in on them, and I shot 2 of them. I had 2 tags left burning a hole in my pocket, and 2 pigs are down. So we had a good trip. We got good video, had a lot of fun. It was great hunting with new people, and really great hunting with Charles. And what'd you think, Charles? Overall impressions. Tell us.
Well, the ranch is exceptionally beautiful, although I only got to see a few hundred yards of it, because that's all we needed to do. But I mean, this whole place is amazing. It's I'm really appreciative of you having me up here. As far as the hunting went, I mean, this is the kind of 2 days, if you're going to call it that, it was really 12 hours that you'll always remember, because every hunting doesn't generally go like this.
No, it doesn't.
Where you go out, your first time somewhere, and I mean, the first spot we went, we're like, yeah, let's go check this out, and then we heard them. I'm like, man, I hear some bass, and I'm hearing them grunt, and they basically just walked right into our lap. So, and then I thought they busted. I made the, you watch it on the film that Ryer took, but I made a little grunt and it stopped for long enough to get a shot off. And
you made a great ad-lib spontaneous shot, because at one time, like I say, you were getting dialed in to make a shot at 10 or 15 yards, and they spooked out to what you guessed was 30, 35 yards, right?
I think it was something like that. Yeah. So actually, Ryan and I looked at the film, and so that boar, there was a boar rubbing up against a tree, and there was a rock sort of in front of me and between the boar and me, and he was behind me. I almost pulled the trigger, but he turned. That wouldn't have been on film. He didn't
wouldn't have seen it. Huh?
So it actually worked out better for the film and getting that on. Getting that on. Now, had I not let down, because I'd let down my bow right after that, the pigs, they came right behind that rock and popped out like.
Yeah, if you'd have been,
10 feet away?
Yeah. If you'd been a full draw, then it would have been. And I didn't know if you saw him, and I was with I was behind Ryer, and Ryer was getting scenic shots of footsteps or something, and you were lagging a little behind there, and had to get you caught up. So now I just trying to get him to get defensive here.
He is. I can see
He's
his
turning
face.
redder than his beard, and
Possible.
If you guys like quality video, that's what I take. I'll let my work speak for itself.
There you go. Boom.
there you go, and it does speak for itself. It's very excellent.
So
He
then-
said it.
He admitted it.
right.
Capture that for posterity.
I'm saving that, and anytime Mark ever says, "Oh, what are you doing that for?"
I compliment you all the time,
In his sleep.
and yeah.
But not on a public forum, Mark. I have a very fragile millennial ego. I need constant boosts
boosting
of morale.
Yeah. Your
Medals,
ego
prizes.
needs more boosting than a Facebook post.
Surprise.
Dad joke number
Fun-
98.
Fun fact about boosting Facebook posts for anybody that is interested, and just to stir the shit a little bit. No, this is politically interesting.
Okay, all right.
Our last video.
Share with us, Ryer.
Our last video, at the end of it, we did a shot breakdown, which we've been told that you guys like a lot. So, if you haven't seen it, maybe you should go
And
watch
we've done
it.
before multiple times
Yeah, we have done this before, although I don't
on
think
pigs and turkeys.
Yeah, although I don't think that we boosted those. So the difference here is every boosted post goes to an actual person to review at Facebook. We sent that one in, and that one has not been approved, even though I've appealed it a couple of times. So I guess the people over at Facebook deem a educational look at a hog that is skinned out inappropriate or offensive,
And they
or
would
something.
Not, and they would not boost it.
Nope, they won't boost it. And I think they probably, for the same reason, probably won't show it to as many people.
Feelings.
Could be.
All of the feelings being heard.
Mark Zuckerberg is a millennial.
The thing is, doesn't Zuckerberg, for a year at least, he every year he makes a pretty large resolution. And it was 3 years ago, I think. He decided he was going to go out and hunt or
kill
kill
his
something,
food or
everything,
something
all
like
the,
that,
all
yeah.
the meat he was going to eat. I mean, it's just the whole thing with, it's a ridiculous notion to hide that from people that they might be offended. Like, the reason why humanity is here is because people ate meat. Let's hide that now. Like,
Yeah.
when did this start? Really, what year did this? Pretty
Yeah.
recent. Like, somebody just came up with, all right, let's do this now. This is way too offensive. I don't get it.
Yeah,
get
I mean, it's
Probably
going
Facebook's
it's going on behind the glass at your Rayleigh's supermarket every day.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
I mean,
it's so so it's a little baffling why in this free world that we're not so free. But oh well.
look at it from the angle of, like, how we watch nature, and Discovery and nature, and we watch animals, and sometimes we're like,
and
how stupid are they? Like, that's a really dumb thing. If something was watching us on the Nature Channel, that would be one of the just one. We do a lot of stupid things, but how just hypocritical and
you could have
unnecessary.
if you had a wolf there tearing apart a deer and eating it while it was still alive, that would be fine,
which happens all the time,
right?
People love watching wolves chase down buffaloes and things like that.
Yeah, and
on planet Earth and things of that nature.
And lions chasing down buffaloes and ripping off their nut sacks and eating it while the buffalo's laying there alive.
Yeah, screaming.
I mean,
that's actually, it's funny. It's some of the, I watch it, but sometimes I'm always rooting for the prey in the situation for whatever reason.
Do you see the one with the hippo guarding the antelope and then it kills the antelope? So
right, yeah.
So well, I don't know. All the hyenas or whatever lions chase this antelope down into this water with this hippo, and so the hippo chases off all the hyenas or lions or whatever it is, and then it turns around and it grabs the gazelle and just goes chaboom.
Yeah, and hippos are no joke.
Oh no,
snap crocodiles in half.
Yeah,
chase boats and stuff.
Well, anyways, Charles, you're kind of a man of many different hats. You guide at Lockwood Hunting Services.
Yeah, I do.
And where's that located at, and what do they offer?
It's in Northern California. It's out of Hopland. It's at that location. It's blacktail hunts and wild pig hunts.
Mm-hmm.
And he has other places where he sells hunts, So if you want to go on a black bear hunt or in Idaho and Canada, different places like that. But in Hopland, where I am, I guide there. I don't know, November through April, off and on.
Mm-hmm.
It's all wild pigs. I haven't actually done a black-tailed deer hunt yet because I'm usually just too busy with my actual business that I do. So, yeah. Been there for, I don't know, a year and a half or so.
All right. And they have a very high success rate of deer and hogs.
Yeah, both the hog hunting and the deer hunting is fantastic. The deer hunting is super, super low pressure. We have really good genetics there, great bucks. And the pig hunting is fantastic, but it's real hunting.
Mm-hmm.
You got to bust your butt. It's really steep. He's way up on the top of a mountain. It's the canyons can be. You just got to be prepared for a hunt.
Yeah, it's a hunt.
But it's a fun place. We can get snow. We can be 105 degrees. It can be, beautiful 52 degrees and slightly sunny. Everything.
Right.
It's a great place. Beautiful.
All right, we'll post a link to that. So if people want to look up,
LockwoodHuntingServices.com.
LockwoodHuntingServices.com. You guys can find that. And I've talked with Tim a bit on the phone. He's a real nice guy and helpful with his information. So
he really does do his best to take care of you, and he guarantees an opportunity actually. So if you don't get a good opportunity, he lets you come back for another 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
So
nice.
That's a pretty good benefit to it, I think. None of this stuff is cheap.
No,
but
no, it's not.
That's a good benefit.
Yeah. And then your main business is you've got basically an entertainment business. You've got a zip line, bouncy houses, rock walls. What's the name of that?
It's called Climb On. I don't actually do bouncy houses.
Oh.
I leave that to the carnies.
Oh, okay. You said you did something else besides the wall.
They're bungee jumps. So they're
bungee.
It's like a you bounce up and you're on actually a 25-foot long fiberglass pole on each side of you, harnessed in, and it throws you up 25 feet up in the air. And,
gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. So
rock climbing, zip lining, all fun stuff like that. And that's what I've been doing since I bought the business in 2006, and I started working for the company in I think early 2005, and had the opportunity to buy it in 2006.
Nice.
That's what I've been doing since then.
And so if people want to rent that stuff, where do they find that?
Climbingwall.com or ziplinerental.com.
Okay.
Actually, I have two different websites for different services. The zipline is sort of an entity of its. That was actually purchased. I purchased that business later. So Climb On purchased a company called Zipline Rental, and I combined those.
Awesome. Well, one thing we wanted to really talk about here, getting onto our main subject, was this bill coming up in California in regards to pig hunting. Now, currently in California, to pig hunt, you buy a hunting license and then you buy a pig tag for every pig that you want to shoot for that season. So we just finished the 2017-2018 season. If you had any tags left over, you had some tag soup. But this new proposal, and you can correct me as we're going along here, Charles, this new proposal is you'll buy your hunting license, and then if you want to hunt pigs, you'll buy a pig stamp.
Correct.
And
that would have worked out great for me these last.
Yeah. If you'd had a pig stamp, you'd have more pigs down.
Unlimited pigs.
Yeah.
How many would be on the ground if
yeah.
had this?
What is the name of this bill?
AB-2805.
AB-2805?
Yeah.
AB-2805.
AB-2805.
Yep.
Okay. And
Assembly bill, I believe, is what that stands for.
And so it sounds innocuous enough that, the reason behind this, they state, was there is a problem with the pig population in California, they say, and so we need efforts to control it. And if we would make it a simple stamp rather than individual tags for every pig you shoot, more pigs would get shot. Mm-hmm. But I think we see some problems with that as far as as far as that really being a reality.
Well, that's what we're being sold, and that's what a lot of people on social media are saying. Oh, I'm going to be able to kill more pigs somehow, or I'm going to have access to private land now. So the first one is you're going to be able to kill more pigs. Well, only if you get the opportunities. So you're going to get the same opportunities as you had when you had to buy a tag.
Right.
Right.
And where are those opportunities at?
Right, exactly. I mean, who knows where they are? I mean,
Right.
you got to make those opportunities.
Right.
They're not just because you have a stamp or a tag doesn't
Right.
change your opportunity rate.
And most of the opportunities in California do come on private land.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, most of them do.
And so that does not change itself does not change the access to private lands. They are talking about the share hunts program.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be add a few hunts to that.
Yeah.
But you're still talking $10 or so to buy a lottery ticket, basically to hope to get drawn.
It's
along
still
with
a
the
draw.
other thousands of people. So it really does not all of a sudden open up a bunch of land to the public,
No.
as far as I can tell.
It doesn't. I don't know how much land they're going to add because of the share program. But there already is a share program for pigs. I mean,
Right.
that already exists.
That already exists.
Right? So this isn't something that's being created, and it's a draw. So you'd still have to win it. I've never won that draw. I'm waiting for the results for the ones that are in
Coming
August and September and October or something like that. I'm waiting right now. But they're just 2-day hunts. They do nothing to I can't see how that's going to control the pig population by having some share hunts. Now, unless they're going to add 300 share hunts or something,
Yeah.
maybe that would give people more of a chance or whatnot, but I'm not sure. I don't know how many they're going to add. I doubt it's that many though.
Yeah.
I doubt there's any landowner that wants people on the property all the time.
Right.
So we'll see how that works out.
Now, truth be told, if a landowner has a pig problem, whether you have 1 acre or 100,000 acres, you can go to the Fish and Game and get a depredation permit for free.
Yeah.
And they shall issue it to you. They'll come out and look at the ground. We've done it here. So
You can also just send them a picture from what I've
okay,
heard.
probably
they'll come
now.
out.
When we first did it, people weren't sending cell phone pictures like they were now. So So if you can send a picture and say they're causing damage, and they'll issue a permit. You can go out at night with a spotlight. Whatever you need to kill pigs. So there currently is a way where if landowner wants, says, I've just got too many pigs. You can also, they will also send out a trapper, and they'll set up a big live trap, and they'll catch a whole bunch that way. They've done it before on neighboring ranches here.
Yep.
And they'll catch them and kill them that way. So there's already methods in place that will eliminate pigs without creating new laws.
Yeah, there are. And to add on to that, so you have the depredation permit, which is easy to get. If you have a bunch of pigs on your property, I've heard personally many ranchers say, well, I also have a commercial business, because then they can lease that land out to an outfitter who has insurance, who absolves them of liability, and waivers, whatever it is you want to do. And they can make money off of that as well. Mm-hmm. The other thing is, if you do catch any animal, this could be a mountain lion, this could be a bear, it could be anything. If you catch an animal, the bill reads, the law reads, molesting or destroying or killing any of your livestock, something like that, you can kill that animal and retroactively report it to the Fish and Game, even if it's a mountain lion.
Mm-hmm. You better have some good evidence and everything like that.
If you're going to do it on a mountain lion, it's a little different than if you're going to do it on a pig. But we're talking about pigs here. There are options. And my point about that, I don't have a problem with anything really that we've said so far. But what I've read is that the marketing, it's marketed to us differently, and that's just marketing. We're being sold something different than what it really is. It seems like so what they're doing is they're declassifying the wild pig from a big game animal to an exotic, right? The way that the big game fund works, so when you go to buy tags, that all goes into the big game fund. There's certain rules for how that money is used. So there already is a share program, right? And that's funded, I believe, just by the raffle tickets. And that's, I think, $11 per raffle or something like that. So that's where they get their funding. By classifying it to an exotic, they now will have all of the stamp sales, because if AB-2805 passes,
Right.
it'll go to a stamp where everybody buys that. Now, that might be $15. It might be more. That actually isn't set in stone yet. It's also on an index, and it can change at any point in
will
time.
change.
And it doesn't even need to be unlimited. It could be good for 10 pigs or 5 pigs or whatever. Anyways, it's besides the point. So based on their own analysis, they're going to have at least $600,000. And if you talk to some people, they say it actually could be more revenue than when they're selling tags. Because how many people are buying second tags? How many people get more than one pig a year? Not many,
No.
right? Let's say
I do.
well, sure. But you're on the A team.
I'm on the 18 with
But-
Charles Whitwam.
So let's say they make this stamp $25. That right there is already going to surpass
Yeah.
what you did with tax. Anyways, based on their own analysis, they're going to make $600,000 off the sale of stamps. Now they can use that $600,000 to go to share hunts plus the funds that they get from the sale of the raffle tickets, right? So, and that's fine, but the way I see it is this is really just pushing for more money to the lobbyist behind this and the author behind this, which is Frank Bigelow. He's an assemblyman. He's a representative, an elected representative. He's representing big ranchers in the Farm Bureau. I suspect, it makes sense because the bill doesn't really accomplish too many things, but it does give the ranchers more money. Okay. Why else would you have so many lobbyists and so much time being put into this? That stuff all costs money.
Yeah.
So that's the way I see it in that. And you know what? That's fine. Here's my issue. So let me back up a little bit. This bill has been going on for at least 4 years. And what I mean is that there was an original draft, and then it didn't pass, and then it changed, and it didn't pass, then it changed, and it didn't pass. And now we have this bill. And bear in mind, it hasn't passed yet. So there can be some changes, and this is what we're working on. There's a section in the bill which explains things that are already illegal in California. Poisoning pigs and transporting,
trapping them, transporting them.
trapping wild pigs and transporting them and releasing them. But then there's an addition, and it talks about wild pigs. It talks about, actually gives tons of different characteristics, different names for pigs, and one of them is domestic pigs, which is interesting. And the way it basically says, if you have a fence where a pig, domestic or wild, cannot get out, that is then considered a hunting preserve and will be banned. So you cannot do a hunt on a hunting preserve. Any type of enclosure, whether it's 5,000 acres, 1,000 acres, or an acre, you cannot do a hunt in there.
And there are a number of those in California. I mean, some people don't know it, but
Right.
but there is a considerable number of those.
Mm-hmm. And some people call them canned hunts. Some people there's all kinds of names for them.
Sure.
That's fine. Well, that section in that bill was brought to you by the Humane Society of the United States, which
Ought to be sending chills down your spine.
yeah, they are the ones responsible for the banning of hunting bear with dogs, hunting bobcat with dogs. I mean, they would ban
lion hunting.
lion. They would ban everything if they could.
Right.
So they threw this into the bill, and for whatever reason, and bear in mind, I'm not just talking about this. I've spoke to almost everybody involved in this. The organizations that are against it, the organizations that are supposedly in support of it, lobbyists, the ranchers who are going to be affected by this. So I've just been sort of brought into this, and it kind of I don't know, just pricked my side a little bit. And I said, man, this really bothers me that there's something being marketed by all kinds of pro hunting companies even. Yay, look at what we're going to get. And they don't even know anything about it.
Right.
They don't know what's in the bill. And
that language is hidden in there, isn't it? Or buried. I don't know if it's hidden, but it is buried.
You can't say hidden, I guess, because it is in there and you can read it. And it's vague language. See, it doesn't say high fence. It actually says any fence that could contain anything. Well, that could be cattle fence.
Sure.
It can be vineyard fence. Okay. And bear in mind, it's the Humane Society in the United States that threw that in there. So who's going to be interpreting this, right?
Right.
The way I see it, to boil it down, is for being in California and for hunters in California always talking about, we need to fight for this and do that. And, people shouldn't be leaving the state. You should stay here and fight. Why is it that I'm seeing so many people say, whatever, let them get away with it. It's fine. It doesn't really affect me.
Yeah.
The Humane Society is a part of a hunting bill. That should not be. Why do we have lobbyists who are pro hunting letting that pass?
Yeah.
I don't see why it's so pivotal that needs to be in there to get the votes for this to pass, because we're not voting on banning pig hunting across the board. We're trying to, apparently make it easier for ranchers or expand the share program. Why do we have to ban a certain type of hunting? And in this type of hunting, people call it's preserved or contained hunting or canned hunting. People bash on that a lot. And, the people that I know who hunt there the most are new hunters, people who don't know that they really want to get into hunting yet, but they get their meat from the store and like, well, let me step it up a notch.
Yeah.
Let me take the animal myself. Let me pull the trigger. Let me hunt it. Right. Let me see where the meat comes from. Let me be involved with that. One of the places that has a huge operation, they have a hunting school, right? So they're bringing in people, they're doing a service. They're teaching them how to do all kinds of things. Right. So, the way I look at it is you can't be against that. I get the bashing of it because sometimes maybe people will post a trophy photo and it's like, well, maybe that hunt wasn't super hard. Who cares? Who cares how hard it was? Was going to the grocery store that hard? No, it's the same thing. It's actually higher than going to the grocery store because somebody else did the killing for you.
Right.
Right. So I think we as hunters, we can't be divisive on this. We can't say, well, this type of hunting is okay, but this isn't okay. Because that's going to, what's the next minority? Dogs have been picked on, right? That dog hunters are pretty much a minority in California as far as the hunting whole, right? And nobody gave a crap about them either. And I think we need to all stand together and say yes or no to things and stand on principles. And this, to me, this sets a precedent, right?
Right.
What's the next bill going to have in it?
Right. So that's where it comes to me. I'm just kind of expanding on what you're saying here is, okay, so we ban this. Okay, well, that's right. I wasn't that for it anyway. I didn't like the canned hunts. I didn't like the preserve hunts. Mm-hmm. Next thing, they will be after something else. The next thing might be licensed game bird clubs. Pheasant clubs, hunting with dogs, bird hunting with dogs, and first maybe they'll start out, well, you can't pheasant and quail hunt, but you can't use you can use one to retrieve a bird, but you can't use, just like you use a dog to go out and find a bear. Right. Now you can't use a dog to go out and find your pheasant for you.
Right.
So they'll say, we need to eliminate, and they'll show, pictures at a pheasant cub, probably of a dog jumping up and catching a bird out of the air or tracking it down or something like that to appeal to people's emotions. Mm-hmm. And then that will be gone. And then falconry will be gone. And then they'll chip away at maybe some archery opportunities and hunts. They'll start with all the, I don't know if I'll call it low-hanging fruit, but the things that aren't as popular, that aren't going to raise the number of hackles. By the time they get to deer hunting and duck hunting, there's not going to be enough people to give a damn.
That's their process.
And, and they're going to go after duck hunting and people are going to say, we need to rally. And all the bear hunters, all the pheasant hunters, all the dog hunters, all the bow hunters are going to say, now you want us to care? when our passion was getting sucked up and thrown away and our rights were getting taken away, you guys sat there and didn't do anything because you said it doesn't affect you.
Right.
Now it affects you. And I promise you that that's what will happen.
Well, you're 100% right. And back to when you said, is it hidden or, is it buried in there? So I brought this to the attention of an outfitter who does both free range and contained. He did not know that this was in there. He just thought, oh, the stamp. Okay, whatever. I told him that. At first, he didn't even believe it. And then he saw it, and then he did believe it. He scheduled a meeting with Frank Bigelow, who's the author, and some other lobbyists. And Frank Bigelow asked him how he even found it. So, and I'm sorry, Frank Bigelow's a Republican, apparently pro-hunting and all that. Why would you try and hide something like this? That's what bothers me because, generally in California, it's what you're going to find who's anti-hunting and whatnot. Not across the board, just don't quote me, but it's the Democrats. My point is California is the majority of Democrats.
Right.
Okay. Now we have Frank Bigelow and here's what I've heard. These guys have been working on this bill for so long that
they want something to pass.
Exactly. And
and they need the Democrats' help.
That's 100. Yeah.
They need the Democrats' help.
Yep.
And with the Humane Society going to the Democrats and going, hey, this is, you should vote on this.
Yes.
The Democrats will go, okay. And boom. And there will go another right.
But why that? I'm still confused, very confused at why that needs to be in there.
I don't know. It could be, if you want to expand the share hunts program, so there's more, there's more opportunities for people to get drawn.
Right.
That seems like a pretty easy fix. I don't even know if you need a bill for that, and that would solve that. Some of still won't super address your pig problems, but. You could do that. I mean, you don't even need I don't even know if you need a bill to do that. Say, well, we want to make this share hunts
They already exist.
Yeah,
so,
it already exists. You could heck, you could just do away with the pig tag or whatever.
It's silly to me. So, the other thing that bothers me. This should when somebody, and maybe they just don't understand maybe what who the Humane Society is and what they've done in the past. But when you bring that up and it's like they just want to glaze over that and talk about what they think is the good parts of the bill. What I want people to have is the foresight into the future here.
Right.
Okay. This kind of complacency is going to lose us more and more hunting rights. And one day it's going to be the one that you love the most in the line.
Yep.
Right. The other thing that bothers me is when I've spoken with the organizations who support this, it's like I'm talking to a politician. I'm getting political answers. I'm like, okay, nobody can answer me straightforward here. I said, hey, I read that, you are in support of this bill. You might not be aware of this because I've run into some that aren't aware that the Humane Society had a part in this. Okay. Now I've had different reactions. The one guy was like, no, I don't think that's true. Found out it was true. He's pretty pissed off. Okay. That it wasn't disclosed to him because that's a pretty big deal, right? Kind of puts him in a strange spot he didn't know he was in. Now some of the other organizations, it's like they want to argue about it. I'm like, wait a second. You're representing hunters. You're an organization that people donate money to, and you're representing hunters, and you don't want to address this. It's like you're kind of, why are you shying away from it? Tell me why. And the other thing is, some of these, nobody has really been able to tell me how they're really going to benefit by this bill passing. Why is it such a big deal? What's the huge benefit here that we have to do, where we have to yet again get rid of another form of hunting? And by the way, this form of hunting, I don't think I got to this. There's this is where kids get their start.
Veterans.
I said new hunters, they do that. Kids get their start. Veterans,
wounded,
disabled, anybody. Yeah. It's much, 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 much easier for them to go to these places and hunt than it is like what I was talking about at Lockwood. It can be done, but man, it's up and down. It's steep. You got to go down into canyons to get these animals where there's no roads. We're hiking in. We can't even get a vehicle in there or a UTV or you know what I mean? It's impossible. These hunts enable you to have a much better success rate. Mm-hmm. But then again, why are we even judging that? Like I almost feel weird talking about it. And it has happened because I've thought about it so much lately. Why do we even have to feel like we have to justify this or anything when 95% of us in the world, whatever it is, something like that, eat meat? Yeah. Whatever. It's sort of like what we were talking about earlier. Like we're all eating meat. I can't show a picture of meat.
Yeah.
On, it's common sense here. And this bill needs some common sense. And the funny part is when it first came out, that was the headline: common sense pig legislation. And then you come to find out, well, nobody read about it, did they? Here's another thing. I've asked organizations, we'll get you our official answer. We need to talk to our lobbyists to see where we stand. And that really bothers me.
Yeah.
And I've never been involved in stuff like this before. And it's that kind of stuff. I mean, isn't it that kind of stuff that drives us crazy about elections and politics?
Yeah.
And are the organizations that, I think we like to think when we throw their sticker on the back of our truck or whatever, that, they stand for, principles and what's right. And, they're not being bought by this or that or whatever else. It's just, for our culture and our, what we do. And I'm learning it's just not the case, and it's sad, and people need to wake up to that.
Yeah.
And it's a part of your life. Hunting is a part of my life. Listen, right now, this doesn't affect me. If if it passed tomorrow, it's not going to affect my life right now.
It'd positively affect me, probably. I mean, we could get into the share hunt program, expand that. Which
you can anyways, but
right. Mm-hmm. But it might expand my opportunities there. Mm-hmm. I mean, this whole thing could put money in my pocket, but I would not vote for it.
And that's the game, because you're like, well, look what I can get,
right?
But we'll just plunder these guys over here.
Right.
But man, that's always full circle.
Yep.
It always comes back around, and it's gonna
bite you in the fanny.
I just have to repeat it again. The Humane Society of the United States is in this bill. They got something to do with it. So if you're in support of this bill, just remember that.
Know you're in bed with the enemy.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, that's we could get into a lot of the details, but I mean that's the nuts and bolts of the whole thing. That's what really is if that wasn't in there, I wouldn't be talking about this.
Yeah. Right.
Be great to get a stamp. Sure. Why don't we just do that?
Yeah.
Why do we got to put people out of business?
Yeah.
They weren't even made aware of this. That's the thing. They weren't even made aware of this. And I was told by some people that are involved in writing it, that they didn't know they even existed in California. And I call that BS. I don't understand how you can be so involved, but so unaware.
Yeah.
And again, it goes back to the thing of how do you even find that in there?
Yeah.
It's so buried that just, it's not a good alarm for me.
Yep. Well, we'll see here, huh? Coming up, what's the next step? What's the next step that it goes through? So
their next meeting, people always talk about going to the state capitol and all that. Nobody ever does that. But here's what I think. I mean, it'd be great if people did, and they're going to have another meeting in 6 to 8 weeks. But the thing about it is, you go to these meetings, and there's supposed to be 8 people on the board, and only 2 of them show up. They vote, and then the rest of them vote just based on they don't even really care. I think the way to do this is for the organizations who are in support of this bill. They have to change their mind, and they will change their mind if hunters are relentless and tell these organizations that they give their money to, that we don't support this bill and we don't want you supporting this either. because your name's going to be on this bill, which is going to come and haunt us later, right? I don't think they want that. So I think that's the best way to go about it. Assemblyman Frank Bigelow, he's got a lot of phone calls, and over the last few weeks and emails, I don't know how it works, but everyone's telling me, they're not getting through. They're not talking to anybody, but I'm still going to give you his number. Assemblyman Frank Bigelow, his number is 916-319-2005. And
why don't you say that one more time? We'll put it up, but say that one more time.
So it's Assemblyman Frank Bigelow, 916-319-2005. And, be polite. I mean, I honestly think the guy's been working on a bill that really is no big deal for a while here. It's not that big of a deal. I think he has been trying to help some people. I'll give him that benefit of the doubt. But this Humane Society thing has got to go. He can't. I don't think he can be a part of that. Email. It says staff. It's I can give it to you. You can just put it up, but it's katie.massingale@asm.ca.gov. So katie.massingale@asm.ca.gov. And, I think hunters should voice their concern, and it can be as simple as, how about taking that section out? Or, here's the other thing. I think, since the word domestic is in there, so I'll talk about that. So the way a hunting preserve works, the way exotics work, if you go get a bison or a sheep or a Eurasian boar, that's considered livestock. Those animals are brought in, they're tagged, they have paperwork, just like, similar to have a cow.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Just livestock.
Okay.
You can go down to the Escalon livestock auction
Yep.
here in the Central Valley and go buy Barbados sheep.
Yeah.
Whatever, Spanish goats.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people who do that. And why wouldn't, of course, that's going to be next. You know what I mean? On this whole, banning thing. But so that's what it is when you go to these places, any legit place. Now, I'm not saying there isn't. I don't know what else is out there. I'm talking about the legit places that are going to be put out of business. The guys who are doing it, if there are any, illegally, well, they're doing it illegally anyway. It's already illegal. Now, I know a wild pig can get into these enclosures sometimes. And according to the bill, you wouldn't be able to kill it. According to the bill, if a wild pig gets inside of a fenced vineyard, you wouldn't be able to kill it. But isn't the purpose of this bill to kill more pigs because they're causing damage? So that seems a little strange to me. I think what somebody might be thinking is that wild pigs are being bred and then they're getting out of these enclosures, right? Well, that's already illegal to have a wild pig inside of there, right? The Eurasian boars, the guy that I know, he said he's never had one to stay. I mean, it behooves him to put his fence 10 foot deep. Or what, you know what I mean? He said he also said they don't breed, or he's never had one breed. I don't know if they're castrated, or I don't know how that works. I don't know how it works.
All males or something.
Yeah, it might, right, because they're boars. Yeah, that's right. So they probably just bring in a Eurasian boar. So I'm not 100% how that works, but there's no sense in putting these people out of business. There's no sense in taking away these, the hunting right from anybody who goes there. Mm-hmm. Whatsoever, and focus on the livestock. Maybe I don't own one of these businesses. I'm just kind of fighting for them and overall against it because of the Humane Society. But maybe if you just take out the livestock or the domestic part, maybe that makes everybody happy. Because as far as I'm concerned, I think everything else is already illegal. That's already in there. Yeah, it's just repeating itself. Maybe that can be done. Maybe we can have something in place. Beyond that so vets don't get left out. So disabled people don't get left out. So kids can have an opportunity to get into it. I know one, he's 8 years old, and that kid he's so accurate with his bow, and he goes and hunts rams and Barbados and all these, and it's amazing. Honestly, he's 8 years old. Kid's an animal. And he goes and hunts, well, he can't go hunt big game until he's 12.
12,
right?
Yeah.
So I think he can in Hawaii because he just went to Hawaii.
And different states are different. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think Texas, you can maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, I mean, that's it. Hunters got to stick together. Yeah. And if we do this, then when the next thing comes around, we can stick together for whoever else is on the chopping block.
Right.
Whoever else's sport is on the chopping block.
Well, I really appreciate you giving us the rundown, and hopefully some people will listen to this, and we'll put it up on as many pages and whatnot as we can, because I think it is an important issue. But hopefully that helps you all out there with that, and maybe tells you something that you didn't know. Well, Charles, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it, and it was a great chance to get to hunt with you and spend some time with you in the field and learn a little more about this bill and everything like that, and learn where I can rent a zip line and a climbing wall.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it. This is good to talk about, and man, I really appreciate the invite out here. That was really something special. I'll never forget that.
Yep, all my pleasure. Well, we thank you guys very much for listening. Like I say, the 2017-2018 season is coming to a close here, and we hope you guys had a great season, and hope you guys have some great plans for this season, and hopefully we'll get a bunch more of you out this year and share some success with some other people, and like Charles says, a lot of this is about opportunities, and that's what we try to do with Mark Ruppy Outdoors and the community show, is getting opportunities out there to other people too. So well, hopefully some of you will be involved in those opportunities coming up here. We thank you very much for listening. Ryer, anything else you want to add to that?
Well, as I was listening to you guys talk, sitting here, silently working diligently, making sure that this podcast has excellent audio quality.
He forgot to push record.
Here we go.
I didn't. I've done that before. I'll admit it. I did not do that this time. But as I was listening, and I was listening to Charles, and he sounded very intelligent, sounded like he knew a lot of things.
Then I listened to Mark. He did not sound intelligent, and he did not sound like he knew a lot of things.
And I thought to myself, I follow Mark Ruppy on my social media, and I don't follow Charles. If I wanted to follow Charles, I thought to myself, how would I do that? So I posed to Charles this question: how would I follow you on these social media outlets so that I can get more of these intelligent opinions from you?
All smoke signals. Look to the hills. Everything is Shadowtrekker Adventures. And that's Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. I am actually going to have a website up soon because I'm expanding my guiding opportunities and outfitting throughout the state. But that's not up yet. But yeah, everything is Shadowtrekker Adventures. Thank you.
And you make videos too, don't you?
I do. Yeah, it's I've slowed down because I actually haven't hunted a lot. I've been guiding so much, which is almost the exact same thing, except for I don't pull the trigger. That's sort of how I try to treat that. But yeah, when I have the time, I certainly go in spurts and try to put my best foot forward into it. It's generally solo filming. Sometimes I will film some other people, and that's a lot easier and more fun as well to put something together for. I've done it for new hunters too. That's incredible to save that memory. But yeah, I try and self-film everything. I'll have a tripod with some camera on it and a couple GoPros, one on my bow facing me and one on my head, and that's generally about all I can handle. I just like to show people the whole hunt as I see it, in usually a first-person view. If I get lucky with the tripod and can get in front of it and do all that, then that's a bonus. It's really hard to do that and have the animal in frame because they're not exactly trying to cooperate.
No, never.
But yeah, all that's on YouTube, and I'll have more. I have a ton of footage. A lot of it's editing. I have so much footage. I just haven't developed stories or whatever it is that I want to go on. I always just get an idea in my head, and I'll complete editing in usually less than a day. That's how I have to do it. I don't want to spend any more time on it than that. I'll just it'll kind of, something will come to me in my head and I'll get an inspiration like, okay, I got to do it right now. And that's it.
Sure.
So yeah, you can check those out.
We will do that.
Yeah.
And we'll post links to that so everyone can see that.
Cool.
Well, anything else, Rye Guy? Rye Nye, the science guy. Right.
Right now, the science.
I've lost
names.
Oh, man,
what was
there's-
it? What was the old one?
Nope, we're cutting the audio immediately.
Yeah.
If you notice that there's no audio for about 1 second, it's because Mark's about to say a nickname that I hate. and I don't want
Ludwig van Shutterbug.
Shutterbug. Yeah, there's been a lot of names thrown back and forth.
Nobody
Just
call me that.
Ludwig
ping-ponging.
van Shutterbug.
Ryer likes to go by Maverick or Lord Vader. I've heard that.
See, I didn't make those
Even
up, though. I didn't even designate those to myself.
You made
Mark
up Maverick.
called me those.
No, you started calling yourself Maverick.
No, I did not.
Yes, you did. I fly a Mavic drone. Do you think it'd be cool if people called me Maverick?
I was.
It's a
you-
Mavic, but Mark thinks it's Maverick. That's fine.
Do the chickens have sharp talons?
Freaking starved.
Shot like about 50 of them. What would you do if they're attacking your cousin?
Speaking of chickens,
totally
I'm glad I threw those
transitioned.
eggs out of the refrigerator. They were
Yeah.
about, I don't know, 9 months old.
Yeah, what the heck? Time to go through the fridge.
I threw out some ham.
Good.
That wasn't good. I think the carrots might be bad. We might need to throw
Yeah,
those out.
probably everything needs to be chit canned there. So
Well, where can people find us, Mark?
they can find us at the community show. Now, see, I didn't say that quite right because there's like too much emphasis on at. But if I say at, you can find us at the community show, then there's not enough emphasis is at. So
It's a very nuanced.
I'm working at, so you can find us at the community show.
That was
And-
good. I like that.
Is that
Just
good?
just the perfect amount of emphasis right there.
Yeah.
We should come up with a descriptive word because that at thing is kind of weird. We should come up with a descriptive word that replaces that. So then that's just what everybody knows.
A curly Q community show.
Like the name of the thing.
Of the at, because that, you know what I mean? Like at the community show.
It's called something.
Oh,
that symbol is called something.
That's what we need to
Well, that
utilize.
funky looking and sign, that's
Yeah,
like
that's
called
what
an
we're talking
amperand
about.
or something
Ampersand.
like that. Huh?
Ampersand.
Yeah, something like
Is
that.
that
Yeah. No.
ampersand? Is that what
No,
it's
ampersand,
but
I think.
the ad is the A with a little thing,
Yeah.
thing
That's what I
around.
mean. What's
I don't know what the call sign
Mark
is.
Groupie talking social media technicalities.
That's right.
It's the A. It's got the circle.
A with the curly Q.
And you
It
do that and
looks
you
like
type
looks like a
it.
hog's tail kind of.
And
Sort of.
then you put the
And you put
words
the-
after, but without spaces.
If you put that like in front of a word, all of a sudden it turns like blue, and then it's
And then
like
people's names start popping up, and then I got to call my kids and like, what's going on with my computer?
Then I'm reading it, and I got some words in bold black letters and some words in regular letters, and I just don't know what's going on here.
Now, is everything in the community show? YouTube?
No, well, the community show is it still on Mark Groupie Outdoor? Are things going to Mark Groupie?
It's a little of both with the Facebook. It's Mark Groupie Outdoors and also the community show.
Right.
If you were to type in either of those things, it
You'll
should
find
pop
us,
up.
yeah.
Because Facebook, again, because it hates me and it hates making my life easy, will not let us.
Right. We
do the
just
name
wanted to
switch.
change the name of Mark Groupie Outdoors to the community show. It would not let us do that.
Because
So
it felt like we were deceiving you
felt
guys
like
with
we
our
were-
content.
Yeah, we were.
They felt
were
like we were
pulling-
trying to trick you guys.
There were so many people that love Mark Groupie Outdoors. They felt like we'd be pulling the rug out from underneath it.
That was the reasoning for that? Really?
Basically, yeah.
It had something to do with they.
Bait and switch sort of thing.
Yeah, I think what they're
person
afraid
is
of.
sitting there.
Well,
Oh gosh, that drives me crazy.
I think what they're afraid of is and this happens on Instagram, is an account will build up a very large following, posting a certain amount of content, with either the intent of selling it to another owner, or they just get tired of it, and so they sell it for a certain amount of value because audiences are worth something monetarily, and so they'll sell that to somebody else whose content may be 180 degrees different, from the original creator and the original account, and then somebody will come in, delete all the posts, and start posting something new. And so now you're following an account that is posting something that is entirely different from the account that you thought you were following originally. And so I think they're trying to stop that. But I think that if they were to look at our stuff, they would know that we're not doing that. You know, we're not suddenly going to start posting PETA memes or anything. At least not positive ones. Maybe some, you know, detrimental PETA memes. Anyways.
Well, we got that figured out.
Yeah.
Anyways, so to wrap this up,
you find us on the social medias with the fancy little @ sign that says The Community Show or Mark Ruppy Outdoors or markruppyoutdoors.com/podcast for all the show notes. And, you know, sometimes we're other places. Sometimes we're here. Sometimes we're there. Sometimes we're nowhere. And sometimes we're everywhere. Just always depends. But anyways, you can find us.
There you have it. Thank you guys very much for listening. We'll be coming out with a new video soon, so you'll have that up soon to watch. And
next week.
Next week. And we thank you guys always for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for responding to all our social media. And we will see you next time at Mark Ruppy Outdoors, the podcast.
And also, don't forget that you need to comment for Mark to do the Drunk Hunter podcast. That's all. Good night.